This is you without Collaborator. Invisible, just another seagull. And this is you with Collaborator. Get noticed in the AI era.
Wix Studio, one end-to-end web creation platform for your agency to deliver exceptional work with absolute efficiency.
Online visibility is not luck, it's a strategy. Combine SEO, digital PR, and content distribution to grow. Visit adz.com to learn more.
Hello, good morning everyone, hope you're well. And where's my intro slide? I'm going to talk a bit about the technical aspects of how computers interpret data, information, knowledge, etc., and how that's relevant to digital PR, both now and then going forward in the future. So we all know that these search results are changing. We've gone from 10 blue links down to rich snippets, down to AI overviews, and then now with AI mode, a fully synthetic web page with purely customized to the user experience on a consistent UX, Google platform, a brand that everybody sort of trusts and has an account on. And of course, that presents a risk to us as SEOs and PRs and brands in general. So we're moving away from this having consumers placing orders on websites and having all these different accounts and into a standardized user interface. Google, I don't know if this is actually active in the UK, but certainly in the US, you can buy and book appointments and things directly on their platform if you set up your the integration and things. So the way we're using the web is changing, but we're still going to keep on using it, just in a different way, as Kelvin was saying at the beginning. You see, information retrieval, which is the concept, the data science concept, the challenge of search, is moving over to QA, what's known as QA, question answering. So, it's answering a prompt with a direct response using some data and some knowledge. And in many cases, this is a better experience, of course, than search. This is an example where I was looking for a Chrome extension. That would have taken a long search journey to actually find, but with ChatGPT, I was able to answer a couple of clarifying questions, and it found what I needed straight away. And then at the last, a recent Google keynote, they've talked about them taking over various aspects of the thinking process for us, and passage-based ranking has been around for passage parsing, has been around in the spiders and the algorithms for a long time, and now basically with these new tools that we're using to interface with the web, they're skimming off and cherry picking the bits out of the content that it needs to answer that question, rather than serving us and making us and then us doing that legwork of browsing a load of different sites, reading a really long SEO optimized, keyword laden introduction just to get one small answer to a question. So the cherry pick, skim off the top what they need, and then generate that fully synthetic page using things like deep research mode, and now the agents that are coming about. Google has its Project Astro, which is a browser control system. Anybody use the new Perplexity browser? I've forgotten the name of it. What is it again? Comets, yes, thank you. It's basically open source Chrome. All your Chrome plugins and extensions work, and wow, it's basically like ChatGPT built directly into the browser. It can take control, and you give it a task, and it will go and do it for you. It really is mind-blowing. And then, of course, ChatGPT have just released their own, literally a few days ago as well, which is another competitor. This is where the browser and the search experience is going. And these agents, anybody, I'm sure many of you used MCP, heard of it? Hands up, please. I'm interested to know, actually. Yeah, well, not as many as I'd thought. But MCP is basically a USB device for your ChatGPT, connects to your other applications, and rather than you copying in and out the questions and the answers, the prompts, you'll go and connect to whatever tool you want, your Google Drive, your Google Docs, your Notion, your Ahrefs. Ahrefs have just released their MCP tool, and it'll pull in that data and give you much better responses and answers. And yesterday I was using these a lot on the link building course that I run in association with brightonSEO yesterday, and actually it was pretty mind-blowing going through the end-to-end process, trying to, using agents to manage a lot of the process, but still human in the loop, sending the agents off to do what you need and just what you would do manually. So that really is sort of where this is going. And Sam Altman, the founder of OpenAI, wrote this article, which I highly recommend because it gives you their vision, and it's very PR'd and favourable towards them, of course. So the word gentle, the singularity being this concept that AI, we produce the first generation of AI. The first generation of AI produces the second generation of AI, of which we can't even understand because its knowledge and its intelligence far exceeds our own. But Sam is saying that there's going to be this gentle, gradual sort of increase. And, some of the speakers, I've already touched on this and you're all seeing it, the changes in the industry, the way journalism, content, SEO is all sort of changing. So Sam believes we've already basically passed this point of no return now. And this is this big, like the pie in the sky sort of, of course, there's lots of people that are pessimistic or skeptical is probably the better word. But if we were to take Sam's blog post and what the projections that he has to map that to our industries, the first step is this human first to agent first interaction. We're seeing that already with these tools being released. They said 2025 was the year of the agent, and that seems to be happening. So then the next stage would be moving from static web pages to dynamically driven knowledge bases. We're seeing that with AI mode, where we don't actually access the underlying websites. We just access something that has tapped in and pulled information from those websites. Excuse me. And then the next stage might be moving from ranking in search at all to actually just knowledge representation is another term. If you want to learn more about AI, about how AI stores, interprets, reads, presents information, and then actually moving away from this AI slop generation, which will die because all this synthetic content isn't knowledge, and I'll talk more about that later. So there's Sam Altman's mapped out, projections mapped out against our industry and what that might look like, and and then eventually moving towards an invisible web, which I'll come on to. So marketers, PRs, SEOs, we have this model, the human decision journey that we go through. Well, we didn't call it the human decision journey, but we have to differentiate now, right? Because we now have an agent decision journey with query fan out and these tools going out there, doing a lot of the heavy lifting for us and just presenting back the information to us. So as marketers and PRs, it's important now, this new element of our work is making sure that the knowledge of our brand is correct and being represented and is positive and complementary to our marketing goals. Because of course we know that AI does get this wrong a lot. This is a study which highlights, it's quite old now, hopefully it's improved, but and also, a little anecdote, I was working with a brand who ChatGPT kept showing up products that they retired years ago, like nationwide brand, and they're like, why, how do we stop it recommending these products that we don't sell anymore? We actually, as our comms team, is trying really hard to move away from this. And the actual answer, once we started using, some of our analysis tools and things, it was pulling the data from their own forum. Their own community of customers had for years been talking about these products. So that was influencing the output and the answer. So it's correcting these facts and these sources around the web and influencing the the knowledge that the AI holds. So, of course, SEOs, we love to come up with new acronyms. I couldn't think of anything better to describe, machine learning, LLMs being falls into the category of machine learning, which falls into the category of AI. And it's not to hype up this, but like we do need to start thinking and understanding how computers interpret information. And alongside, if our customers are actually using this and basing their purchasing decisions and their perception of a brand based on what the AI says, it's a big opportunity and also a big threat. So the concept of knowledge is heavily studied in AI, and it's been around since Plato defined it as justified true belief. So that incorrect product naming that I mentioned, it was justified in outputting that as an answer, and it truly believed it, but it was the wrong knowledge. So we need to start categorizing all of our brand data into, like the Dewey Decimal System, which humans have been organizing data and information for years, and ontologies is a way of doing that. This is how knowledge is represented in entities and things. Those who have been in SEO for a while, entity-based like search and the semantic web and things. This is how the AI associates a thing, people, place, or thing, a noun, and then how they connect. And that is known as a semantic triple. More on that later. And you can map anything out into this sort of structure, and how this is an example of how movies and actors and things are related. And what Google does is it uses its NLP tool to perform knowledge extraction. Takes out all the fluff out of the content on the web and organizes it into structured data. This is Wikidata, which does that exact same process on Wikipedia, and organizes it into nicely organized, structured information. And these ontologies, there's ontologies for everything out there on the web. And there's even one for washing machines. So if you sell or you manufacture washing machines, you can organize like how many t-shirts per load and things like that, the efficiency, the features that it has. And this information we don't know. Google's a very complex microservices architecture. I love this graph because it highlights how all of these different systems and engines work together. And there's more than just one engine inside Google. There's the search engine, and there's also this concept of the knowledge engine. And we know Google doesn't talk about it except when they were under oath in the antitrust trials and in their API leaks. But it is also talked about a lot in the AI and data science world. And Google actually is, actively recruits for roles. So I believe there is this concept of a knowledge engine alongside the search engine, which powers, of course, the knowledge graph. In data warehousing, the architecture, the methodology, they have this concept of a data vault, which is where it's like you're staging. It's where data goes. It's unverified, unstructured, unvalidated. And there's also research papers and a few talks about, I believe there's a knowledge vault embedded inside Google. And so does this chap, Olaf, who's got a brilliant site who analyzes lots of, highly recommend checking out his content. And I believe that data goes into this knowledge vault, and it takes this is statements, unsubstantiated claims that we put out there on the web. And then over time, what happens is Google starts to validate and verify this information through, authority sources. And then over time, I believe it reaches a threshold where it says, okay, I can believe this as now actual true knowledge and fact. And then it moves over into the knowledge graph. And then that's how that data needs to be perfect, what's outputted. And we have so we're moving away from this concept of ranking in 2D with 10 results and into a multi-dimensional space. where the search results are tailored. And what I mean by that is rather than just having a relevant answer to a query, it might say, okay, yeah, but this user is actually an expert in this field, so let's show different search results that only surface none of the basic content and only the advanced stuff. So all these personalization that we've known about in search, it's going to happen more and more as the AI, as you interact with it and it learns more about you. The search results are going to be very different for everyone, and the answers. And this is how this is embeddings and how words and text are numerical representations, and again you can see this, how that relates to those ontologies. So so I agree with Kelvin. GEO doesn't really fit. That's just talking about generative AI, which is one type of one classification of AI. But Google has this knowledge engine, which means part of what we need to be doing going forward is knowledge engine optimization, and I believe PR plays heavily into that. So so it was all very transferable, as people say. The best way of ranking in LLMs is through SEO. That's actually very true. I do agree with that, because it takes the majority of its information from the top of the search results. But then also it is more nuanced in that, and actually I'll come to that. I'm not going to cover it now. So this, in my mind, this is how I think. This is how I visualize a brand being as a shape in a multi-dimensional space. You imagine this as 3D, and that shape is cultivated over time. A brand like Nike would be a big shape. A brand like Seeker would be small, because there's much less knowledge in the world about Seeker, and there'll be very different shapes. Just like an apple and an orange are similar in many ways, and then also very different. But a chair is a very different shape. So that's how my wacky brain sort of visualizes this. So in PR, and marketing in general, we're nurturing and developing and making a beautiful shape out of our brand in these multi-dimensional spaces, instead of like an ugly, scary, like jagged shape. And that's what we're doing. We want to move away from the bad neighborhoods, the bad link neighborhoods, the bad press, the bad sentiment, and grow it in the way that fits us and our brand. So it's important to note as well that content on its own is not knowledge. Knowledge is actually what's distilled and extracted from that content. And we've heard about data in PR, very valuable. Are you actually contributing to the web with new information, or are you just rehashing what's already out there? Because when Google distills it down, it will just purge anything that it didn't already know. How this applies with links and PR mentions and things. This is an example that we have some coverage in the BBC, and what you see there is a link with a brand, and a person is also mentioned, and the brand is mentioned alongside another entity, a category of brand. Over time, these representations, it grows stronger links between those, and therefore more likely to show up in relevant queries and prompts. And these people are then associated together in this knowledge graph, and like a social network, and that we will all be in some way linked together because we're all here, we're all working in similar fields, etc. So that proximity on those graphs reduces as they become more similar and relevant. So so our PR campaigns, they strengthen the edges. The line is the edge between between the nodes, like in a mind map style. We're strengthening and enhancing and growing the right edges, connecting to the right concepts, the right adjectives, and things. And something else I want to communicate is that AI thrives on low entropy, which is low noise, clear clarity, consistency. It will ignore anything that it hasn't got confidence in. So that's why people are talking about chunking and things. This is why it's important to lay it out, otherwise it won't get picked up. And there's that semantic triple concept that I talked about earlier on, broken down into words. And this is effectively what these knowledge extraction. This is what happens. You take that article on the left, and it breaks it down into those sort of semantic triples. So There's lots of controversy around LLM.txt, a new file, and people arguing all over LinkedIn and wasting their time, quite frankly. It's the wrong mindset. Yes, it's not some silver bullet to SEO yet, or golden bullet. We don't know if it actually has any effect on rankings, but that's not the point. We're actually going to be moving away, as we talked about, from search. And these agents can plug in tools like Firecrawl. So rather, it's not so much about Google search, but when you configure your own agents and set up something like Firecrawl to browse the web for you, it is going to go and look at these things like these LLMs.txt. And therefore, a traditional press release like this is just an example, no affiliation, none of this. This is all fictitious. Might move to a JSON format, which is more machine readable, where those news bulletin desks have their agents and they pull in the press release. They're pulling out all the fluff again. And for anybody who's into prompt engineering, this is what actually gets the best results and lowest hallucinations. So schema as well. Yes, like people talk about, it doesn't train the models. It's not the point. It's about structuring our data. So I think people should be making a brand ground truth and consolidating and distilling all of their brand assets and guidelines into a machine readable file, performing audits like this, which we do offer, by the way. And I'm going to have to, I'm running out of time, so I'm going to have to fly through these, but the slides will be available. And performing SEO processes like this, which enables us to generate reports, and a bit like SEO reports, and competitor positioning, and plotting those into positioning maps. All of these GEO analysis tools, you can build your own. Agencies should be building their own. We're in an era where search tools, these tools can be sort of built at much lower cost. So apologies, I'm going to have to skip past these just to get to this last point, which is this layer of the web is going to probably look more like this when the VR, AR tools come down. There's these environments out there training robots right now on how to walk and things. So we need to start thinking bigger. Tim Berners-Lee created, the inventor of the web, also created the semantic web, which is it's out there now. You just can't see it because it's mostly interpreted by machines. And I think there's going to be a rise in this system and in this framework, and there's a classification system for grading, and you can build your own knowledge graphs and link those knowledge graphs to the web and create a federated knowledge graph. So so machine PR, there we go. That's my sort of definition and the concept of it. And come down to our stand where we can talk more about this. Apologies for skipping the slides. I'll get something out there online if you want more explanations. But yeah, that's it from me. Hope it was insightful. Thank you very much.
Monthly reporting making you want to shove sharp things up your nose? Try Dragon Metrics, the all-in-one SEO software with mind-blowing reporting tools.
Wait, do you want free ice cream, or do you want to know the latest in how search behavior is changing? If it's the latter, download Search Pulse by Reflect Digital. Get that now.
Demand Sphere. Limitless visual insights from the SERPs. Unlimited dashboards and users. Easy to use and easy to scale your growth to new levels.
You've got two blind spots, keyword rankings and LLM visibility. Now, most tools solve one, but AccuRanker solves both. See how at booth number 18.